Hey guys, it's Max Convexity. How's everyone doing? Beautiful Monday morning back here in the Austin office. I got my lights. Everyone can see me. Hopefully I'm clear. I know that bed and breakfast I was in California was dark. All right, guys. Let's see what we're going to talk about today. Oh, I have a new feature for you guys. I stayed up late last night working on something. Um, All right, we have the Alti weightings. We'll look at that in a second. We'll start with the Alti grid where we usually do. We're just going to start monitoring the weightings. In other words, how big the positions are getting. All right. Well, Jay's turned this into a caller fund. Look, there's nothing but caller other than on Mobileye, which has a call spread on. And that's been for a while. Look, we can go back here another 3 days. Caller, 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 caller. This is a caller fund now. It's what it would seem, and that's fine. Callers are awesome. Just to refresh everyone's memory, a caller, you could think of a caller as a covered call. A caller is a covered call. So a covered call is where you own stock. So we'll look at one of these. A DJT, okay? Just refresh real quick. So DJT, Trump Media and Technology Company, Jay owns 95,000 shares for the ETF, okay, of DJT. Now he has sold a 35 strike call that expires this Friday. So that means that Jay has capped his upside at 35 on DJT. However, he has turned around with some of that money that he received from selling the call and he used it to buy a put at 28. So Jay's in a situation now where he's going to make an income. And he's not going to lose a whole lot because of the put at 28. He's locked out a lot of the risk. So let's see what DJT looks like. All right, let me get this freaking thing off here. Collapse that panel. Where in the hell is my somehow I think I made my freaking my volatility metric graphic disappear again. And I just figured out what I've been doing all this time. But anyway, that's fine. That's fine. Let's just delete this pane. Yeah, it's gone. All right. Well, DJT. So stock's trading around 32. So Jay sold a 35 strike option. So here's what we're going to do. We'll draw a line at 35. And then we'll draw a line at 28. This is where his caller is. So all right, so he's in a situation where I don't know what price he's in the stock at, but let's just assume he did this on Friday. Some people do this as one transaction. They buy the shares, sell the option, sell the call, buy the put. So the stock was trading at 32. He sold the 35. He's going to get the upside from 32 and 35, which isn't a whole lot. Granted, but it's like 10%, right? 3 points. I mean, all right, 8% or something. But then if the stock should drop, that sucks, but he won't get penalized once it drops under 28. That's as much as he can lose. All right, so that's what a caller does. And that's basically what he has on all these. And that's a great way to play because these are really high risk stocks. So it's a great way to do it. All right, so he has the same stocks he's had on before: Coinbase, DJT, him. I mean, I really haven't seen him put any new stocks in the portfolio in a few days. Now, I bet he put some more in there this evening, and I'll tell you what it's going to be. Probably CRM, Marvell, OKTE, maybe Chewy. He already has Foot Locker in the portfolio right now. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets some Lulu, Alta, DocuSign. Anyway, I bet we see some of these stocks coming up. The ones with the higher volatility we'll probably see coming up in the portfolio. Now let's go over here to the Alti. I guess the Alti grid is right, or the Altiverse. All right, so gosh damn it, Upstart is freaking killing us. But the good thing, it has a collar, so it's not, it's only killing us a little bit. It's probably maxed out what it can drop. It's probably 13%, but it's not going to be able to drop 50%. It just depends on how far down you set the collar. In that other example, if you would have bought the DJT at 32, collars at 28, that's 4 points difference on 32. That's about 15%. So that's about, you're playing for, think of this, think of a collar as a stop loss. I don't like stop loss orders, and I'll make a video about why I don't like them, and I never use them. You don't have to if you use options. I'll make a video about that sometime. But you can think of a collar almost as like a trade with it. It's a stop loss, mechanical stop loss. All right, but now let's see what's doing well. Coinbase is doing well. ZIM is doing well. Abercrombie and Fitch is doing well. Looks like the average is up about a quarter point, and ULTY is up about 15 bips. Nice job, guys. Now, let's check out the weightings. This is as of Friday's close. The average stock position they have is about 3.2%. On Mobileye, they don't own stock, but I converted the options to the notional value and made a stock equivalent. And if they had done it with stock, done the same trade with stock, it would be 1.1% of the portfolio. You can see DJT is a small percent of the portfolio. But I wondered, though, it kind of looks to me, since I just started following this, I'm not sure, but it looks to me like the ones that have been pulling back are smaller parts of the portfolio, probably because they lose money. And then the things that go up every day, like triple leveraged, whatever that is. TNA is triple leveraged something. It's triple leveraged Russell. Holy shit, dude. It's up 6.52% today. Imagine that. That's a triple leveraged Trump play. I mean, or maybe Jay, or I don't know. I don't know if the positions are getting bigger and he's letting them get bigger. I don't know if he's intentionally putting more in some and less in others, or if he's putting the same in all and they're just growing at different rates, and some depreciate and some appreciate. Anyway, if you look, I bet he starts around 2%. So, 3-4%, that's good. But the average, though, is 3.2. So the average right now. So Snow up, Snow's a big weighting. Tesla's a big weighting. That's Trump trade. Palantir's a big rating. I mean, Tesla and Palantir's bosses, like I always mentioned, they bought the election. Or they bought the president. So those should be good. And Palantir bought the vice president. And anyway, you guys get it. All right. Great day to be a Trump supporter, though, right? As long as it's your team that's bought the president, it's all good. Yeah, but you don't want the other team to buy him, though. All right. Let's go to the index buffer report. Let's see what's going on in index land. Spy land, we don't look like we have a lot of really good performance outside of XDTE. Ooh, look at that one. Another day, another outperformance. Holy shit. All right, well, let's see what's going on. Would you bet there's a gigantic gap in the SPX? And not really gigantic. Let's go down to the 30-minute chart. But in any event, nice job, XDT. I would say it's because supply and demand, because people are buying and more people are buying it than selling it. But you guys realize that's not the way ETFs work, right? When extra people want to buy an ETF, they'll just print up more shares. And when they want out, they'll just tear up the shares and give them their money back. So it's a different dynamic than stocks. But other things being equal, you do want people to be buying the ETF that you like, because as long as the assets under management are high and going higher, you don't have to worry about the manager shutting it down. So I'm not saying it's not important, but it doesn't directly correlate like it does in the stock market. I want to have Mike Venuto on here to explain exactly the mechanics to the tiniest detail of how ETFs work, because it's fascinating. And it's fascinating. To me, it is anyway. We'll get him on. But once you understand how they work, it explains a lot of stuff. So, all right. So NASDAQ land, I bet you QDT is killing it also, but we'll see. Yeah, QDT, not outperforming, but it's fine. I mean, it's still getting a lot of upside. I'd say about 3/4 of the upside. Now look at my little, you know how much I love these Defiance funds. Look at Triple QT. You know, it's good fund. Which one's this one? FEPI. Look at FEPI. Nice job, FEPI. AIPI. Nice job. Triple QI is lagging. I also love that one, to be fair. I always talk about that one, and that one's only doing about half as well as XDTE, but the other one's doing a little better. But there's a lot of good ones out there. YMAX. Look at YMAX. That's a freaking beast. YMAG. We're going to have to goat YMAX pretty soon. I mean, didn't I see the other day it's making about 90% right now? And it's catching upside. I mean, anyway, it'll be good as long as the NASDAQ's good. It's just a NASDAQ fund. So just like FEPI, whatever. They aren't doing anything magic, but it's fun to watch it happen right now. Well, they are doing same magic. The covered call spreads are a nice little trick. Triple QI looking good. JEPQ looking good. There's ULTY. Well, one thing you can say, ULTY is definitely beating the Russell, which is pulling back today. That means Jay's that means he's in the right stocks. Bally outperforming. Clip, the China-based fund, Crane Shares Fund. THTA, the real steady volatility selling fund, doing well. YBTC, killing it. All right, single stock buffer report. What is going on with SMCI? Jiminy criminy, or SMCY, or SMC, whatever the hell this is called. I never know to call by the high yield fund or because sometimes I'm talking about the high yield fund, sometimes I'm talking about the other fund. But man, that pullback would have been, I'm just kicking myself that it was at 15 2 weeks ago. I mean, that would have been the exact bottom, but your first clue that it's going up might have been this open gap that didn't get filled. And then the very next day you have an open gap that's still not filled. I always say go in the directions of the gaps that aren't filled. And it's not me that says that. That's an old Wall Street adage, but it works. Then there's an open gap between these 2 days, a small one. This market's screaming that it wants to go higher. Then there's an open gap between these 2 days. Then a gigantic one here that hasn't been closed yet. Actually, this gap right here got closed the very next day. But anyway, this gap right here is still open. This gap's open. They have 3 bullish gaps that are open, and now 4 because they have this one. Well, anyway, this thing is on freaking fire. In the same way a bullish gap tells you something, bearish gaps tell you. This gigantic bearish gap that wasn't filled and then one the next day, it's pretty clear, hey, this sucker's going down. And sure enough, then I had another gap there that did get filled. And then another bullish gap there that got filled. But anyway, then it started putting gaps in the other direction. So go with the gap. But that's an amazing story. That is an amazing story. I wish I just would have bought 1,000 shares. I mean, usually I'm all about options, but when you get something for 10 or 15 bucks, it's almost like an option because it's almost like an option that never expires because you can pay 10 bucks for options sometimes, more expensive ones, but Leafs and stuff, definitely. Well, anyway, okay, that's awesome for those people that have SMCI or SMCY. What's really pretty freaking impressive is SMCY. It's a covered call fund, supposedly a covered call fund, so it should have a capped upside. No capped upside here. It's up 16 freaking % today. Let's look at SMCY. We'll actually look at the SMCY. Now let's turn, this is since inception, daily bars. Let's suggest data for dividends. That means we're going to include the dividend payments in the return, see how it's done. Okay. Not great. It almost looks like, yeah. Well, okay. I guess he got off to a little bit of a rough start. I mean, but going SMC, because after all, the parent company did pull back to 15. So, it knocked this price down from 60 to 20. Well, that can really show you the risk in these funds. This is still a great fund, but it lost 2/3 of its value in a few days. It's because it's you know. But I mean, look what it's been doing on the upside. It's higher risk, higher reward. Now, also, it didn't really lose 2/3 of its value because you include the dividend. It lost half its value, including the dividend. So, not great. But anyway, if you have it allocated properly, and this is one of 5 or 10 of these that you have, your other one should be doing well. And this one's roaring back. So we shall see. All right. Look at Sky. No one really talks about Sky, but look, catching all the upside. The parent's up 5%, Sky's up, catching about 90% of it. That's beautiful. YieldMax outperforming. Misty's outperforming. MSTY is looking really nice. Beating the parent pretty bad, as is NVDY. You could see why it's such a great day on YieldMax, because YieldMax just owns all of these. YieldMax is just a fund of funds. All right, let's make sure we've covered everything. Bobo pulling back a little bit. GDXY pulling back. JPMO, only one beating the parents on the downside. All right, so we talked about earnings. We're going to have some content on if these are liquid enough and have high volatility and there's some good opportunities. I'll have some content, some option trades you could do yourself, small option trades for a retail account. They'll kind of be patterned after what Jay's doing in Alt-T. It'll be some kind of something with limited risk where you make an income, but you have some upside. That's, best of both worlds. Let's look at the option market overview today. So this is unusual option activity. So these are strikes that have really high volume and open interest, or they've had a high spike in volume and open interest, I think is how the algorithm works. Okay, Tesla puts, and puts isn't always bearish. Sometimes people are selling them, and that's why it's, but anyway. But when you have something with active calls, that generally is what I look for. So the only one that kind of stood out, look at this one. I like these cheap price ones. Cooler. Is this one getting taken over? It's only $5. Cooler Technology Group. IV's $292. All right. Probably be expecting if these guys have liquid options, probably be expecting an option trade on this stock, maybe for the end of the week. Maybe they're in play or something, or maybe we'll do it for the end of the year. I'll do a little research, but let's see what else is going on. This is an interesting thesis. Convert crypto volatility into 121% payout with a long iron condor. If you guys are interested in something like that, I could show you how to do a trade like that. You might look at that or something like that. See what else is going on in the options world. Top covered call ideas. This is where Jay gets a lot of his ideas. And I'm totally 100% joking. Jay has something called a Bloomberg terminal that has better data than TradingView. But the Bloomberg terminal will tell you some of this same stuff. These are the stocks that you could buy and instantly sell an option, sell a call, and lock in a lot of money. On this one, you could instantly make 35%. GALT, what the hell's this? I don't know. Let's look at it. Galactin Therapeutics. All right. Implied volatility, 441%. Well, I bet you could make a pretty nice trade in there. Be expecting some content on this one for sure, probably. If you're just a YOLO guy, maybe buy 1,000 shares of this. It's only $2.86. I have no idea what's going on, but lots of times when you see these, it pop up on either unusual option activity or good covered call ideas. The reason these are a good covered call idea is because other people are bidding up the volatility in these stocks for whatever reason just spoke about. Maybe you feel like you missed the boat because you didn't get it down there at 15. Well, I mean, we could probably, there's option trades you could do that take advantage of that. So this one they're suggesting is potential return of 272% if it gets called away. Look at this. SMCI is trading at 41. Well, the 146 strike call is trading for 6 cents. Okay, that's only $6. Okay. But still, that's incredible. 0.2% of a return just if nothing happens, which, nothing's going to happen. But if it does happen to go up there, you make 272%. Look on this GALT one, this Galactin Therapeutics. It's trading under 3. The $7.50 call is trading for 75 cents. So definitely be expecting some content on that. I'm going to show you guys how to exploit that. All right. All right. So let's make sure we talk about everything. So we talked about ULTY. We talked about ULT grid. They're doing callers. The weightings are highest in the, leveraged Russell and leveraged NASDAQ because that's what's blowing up. Next time we get on here, maybe we can talk to Jay some more about the ratings, and maybe I'll make some kind of chart that follows the weightings, not the ratings, the weightings or something. I really haven't figured out what I'm doing yet. I'm just trying to make some engaging content with regards to Alti. We'll keep an eye on all of these. And then at the end of every show, I like to talk about options. So that's why we talk, that's why I talk about options right at the end of the show. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you all for being here. And I hope you have a great day. All right. See ya.